Hi everyone, I hope everyone is having an amazing day so far. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of my Dapper Day tips, tricks, and hacks for your hair. Now, hair is probably the most daunting thing when it comes for Dapper Day, if I'm being honest. And I think that is because, and I'm going to blow some minds right now, everyone assumes you have to do a vintage hairstyle, you have to do something elaborate and vintage. And the truth is, you don't have to. You don't have to do a vintage on any aspect of Dapper Day. The majority of the people that go to Dapper Day do vintage, but you are not by any means required to. I think it just kind of became a trend to do vintage, but it isn't a requirement. Dapper Day is to celebrate style from yesterday up until tomorrow. It's to celebrate all forms of elegance and chic. I love vintage. I do vintage every day of my life. I do vintage. I just go a little bit more out there with it, I guess you could say, or I go a little bit more over the top with it. But if you are dead set on doing vintage, that is 100% okay. Go for it. I encourage you to, but know that you don't have to. But with that being said, my tips for you today with doing hair do kind of revolve around the vintage aspect, but I am going to make it universal to all different types of hairstyles. My first tip is kind of it's a twofold. One, practice your hair beforehand, because your hair might not like that type of hairstyle. I know for my hair, I can't do brush outs and be out in the Florida humidity. It won't work. When I was visiting Prague, I did a brush out every single day and my hair was flawless, let me tell you. I mean, it lasted through wind, through snow. It was fine. Florida, I could brush it out, go outside, it's gonna be pin straight right after, within like 5 minutes. It just is. I haven't found that right concoction yet of hair products and setting time and things of that nature, but it doesn't, I don't even bother doing brush outs in the spring to mid-fall season that we get here in Florida. But wintertime and it's colder, I can do brush outs every single day and I'll be fine. But practice your hair beforehand. Watching a YouTube tutorial day of trying to figure out how to do your hair is not, it may not work. It could work. I'm not saying it won't work, but it's probably not gonna work. And you may find as you're doing, like as you're practicing, that you might need something else. Like, a big thing for me is the type of bobby pins I use. I use both the straight curved edged ones and then also the ridged ones. You might find that certain bobby pins work better for different hair types. It just, you practice it beforehand, figure out what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, and go from there. You'll feel much better coming Dapper Day morning and doing your hair, knowing exactly how to do it. And because you've practiced it, you've also cut your prep time down. Something else I think a lot of people forget is Florida's weather is very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. One of my first spring Dapper Days, which I believe I was working in the morning and then I went right after work, is Florida's weather changes at the drop of a hat. It started the day out being it wasn't hot, but it was a comfortable weather, and then it was so cold. I think it got, well, not terribly cold, but I think it got to like 45, 50 degrees in the middle of March, and I was not prepared. I was in a white sleeveless dress. It was shorter, and I didn't have a scarf, I didn't have a jacket, I didn't have anything, and I was freezing. But if it is windy, for your hair to protect it is just get a scarf and just drape it over, do a quick tie in the front, and boom, and just go. It's gonna just help protect your hair against the wind. It'll keep it nice for photos, and who knows, you can even get a nice vintage vintage photo with your scarf on. But bring a scarf with you. You know, you can fold it up really small and just pop it in your bag. And if it does get windy, you can just throw it on over your head and it'll help protect your hairstyle. It'll help keep it intact for the rest of the day. And if it does get cold, that's another layer of warmth for you. My third tip is when you're styling your hair, use some type of pomade. I use the Beyond the Zone Alter Ego pomade. I love this. I know Suavecita is also a great brand. This was just the first pomade I ever used. I have tried Suavecita. It didn't work necessarily the best in my hair, but this was the first brand I ever tried, and just so happened it was the one that worked for me. So I just went back to using it. But use some type of pomade. Just even if you're not going to use it to style your hair, it's a great product to just smooth out some of the flyaways. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Now I didn't put any hairspray in my hair today, but I mean normally I would, but I didn't do that because I wanted to show you what I meant with it. But I'm just going to take a teeny tiny amount of the pomade. I don't know if you can see it because it's clear, but I'm going to rub it in my fingers. And then I'm just going to smooth out the flyaways. And if you don't like a ton of product in your hair, you don't like that product feel, this is also a great way. It's also a nice way to add some shine to your hair. Some pomades are designed to add shine. They're designed kind of like foundations with different finishes. I believe mine, I want to say mine is designed to have kind of an in-between a matte and a shine finish. I didn't want too much of a shine, I just kind of wanted it in the middle, but they do have different textures to them, and they'll add different effects to your hair. If you're not keen on a pomade, or maybe you've tried pomade, doesn't work for you, I do recommend, I use 2 different types of hairsprays in my hair. I use the magnified volume and the helmet head one. Yeah, I use 2 different types of hairspray. I use this is the helmet head one. I use this one on like my curls or my victory rolls, my barrel rolls, anything I need it to stay in one place. I use the magnified volume finishing spray when I'm gonna wear my hair down, and I kind of want it to flow a little bit more. It just gives my hair a little bit more movement. In terms of picking the right style for your hair, if you've never been to Florida, or you've never been somewhere with a lot of humidity, or maybe this is your first style, I do recommend some type of updo. Reason being is updos can be a little bit easier to do. Mine is just a Gibson roll that I have right now. I will link that video for you to go and check out just how I do it really quickly. But Gibson rolls or Gibson tucks are pretty simple. It's just a hair rat and then you pin your hair around to it. It's not hard, but it can help you if you're not entirely sure how to do your hair, or if you are afraid that your hair is just gonna blow up or not work with the weather, or if you've just never done a vintage hairstyle before, Gibson tucks can be a pretty easy hairstyle. How I did mine right now was I just put it in the Gibson roll, I curled the front sections, and then I pinned the curls. This is one of my go-to hairstyles. I do this almost every day. It's super easy, but it looks really nice. Even like a chignon or a bun can look really nice as well, but some type of updo can kind of be a little hack to get your hair to look pretty all day long and stay, and you can win the battle with the Florida humidity. I don't hairspray my Gibson tuck, I just roll it up, pin it there, and kind of let it go. But you can definitely spray it into place if you would prefer to do that. If I do a chignon or a bun, I definitely do spray that in because there's nothing holding it in place with the exception of my bobby pins. With my Gibson tuck, I do have a hair rat in there, so the hair does kind of, at least for my hair at least, it does cling to that a little bit more. And I'm able to, my hair is long enough now where I can just kind of roll it in there and then pin it in place. So I don't hairspray it, but if it works for you, definitely spray it into place. Yeah. So these are my hacks, tips, tricks for your hair for Dapper Day. If you do have any questions, please feel free to comment, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you all out. I think I said this in one of my other videos. The whole way to make Dapper Day successful is to prepare, it's to have a plan, and it's to prep. Plans don't always go accordingly. That's okay. It may not go accordingly. But if it does, then you won. But it's always better to have a plan than to not have a plan and then show up and then not know what you're doing and waste time trying to figure out what you're doing. All right, I hope everybody has an amazing rest of the day, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!